when you swing through the division, you want to quickly get it in.
Moving on right back to it, we do back to this. I just want to say thank you, Will Powell, and you're coming back later on to not talk about World War II, but maybe talk about another war.
We can talk about all kinds of other wars, but World War II again next, and then we keep jumping farther forward when we have that.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Military Aviation Museum, the Wildcat, the Stearman, or the M2S, and thanks to Boom Powell. He is an expert. Retired Navy Commander Boom. We'll see you a little bit later on, my friend. Thanks, partner, very, very much. Now, from the right, if you will, flying the T-28 Trojan, Joe Edwards approaches. A true American hero flying this airplane, which was used as a transition trainer. North American aviation. It served with both the United States Air Force and the United States Navy, as well as the Marine Corps, and later on, even in the Vietnam War, in the South Vietnamese Air Force as a counterinsurgency aircraft. But the guy at the controls was a test pilot for the United States Navy. One of the test pilots for the F-14D, the final model of the Tomcat. He actually flew F-14s during the Gulf War. And on one memorable and very, very significant mission, Joe and his passenger in that F-14D Tomcat had a catastrophic failure of the radome right in the nose of the aircraft. And the pitot tube, the tube on the front which is used to get ram air fluid to provide indications for airspeed, came through the canopy and hit Joe Edwards in the face, temporarily blinding him. And yet, in spite of that catastrophic failure, Joe Edwards was able to safely get back to the carrier, saving himself, saving his backseater, and saving the airplane. Turns out that was his last carrier landing. Joe Edwards moved on to the astronaut corps. And Joe flew the space shuttle and docked that space shuttle with the Mir space station, bringing back some astronauts to Earth after that mission. As fighter pilots go, this is probably one of the most humble men you would ever want to meet. Still active with the U.S. Navy Test Pilot School, this airplane is actually used, and he continues to instruct Navy test pilots. With a 1,425 horsepower, 9-cylinder radial engine on the front, it's a huge airplane for a trainer, but remarkably light on the controls. Joe rolls with a piece of it over the show. Joe logged over 2,000 hours in the F-14 Tomcat fighter. He had 650 carrier-arrested landings. And in the course of his career, Joe Edwards was awarded nearly 30 military decorations, including 1 Air Medal and the Distinguished Flying Cross for recovering that damaged F-14 Tomcat aboard that. Destroyed by the radar. He not only was temporarily blinded, he broke his shoulder and it collapsed one of his lungs. And that Distinguished Flying Cross that he received was the first Navy award of the DFC in peacetime flying, and only one of 63 awarded since World War II. In his whole career, logged over 6,000 flying hours in 75 different types of aircraft. And the family of Johnson go to the medical security tent, which is way back in the back, behind the helos. The blue and white top tent that's farthest from us, way back there. The parents are lost. The sound of that engine is very, very distinctive. Because the exhaust stacks of that 9-cylinder radial engine are separated. We got 4 on one side, 5 on the other. During Joe's time at NASA, he set world records for piloting the greatest mass on Earth orbit, for the largest number of humans flying in space simultaneously. He flew the closest flying maneuvers aboard an orbiting space station in the history of space flight. Matter of fact, he actually was able to dock with the Mir space station. And when he came back after his career as an astronaut was over, and he wanted to learn to fly formation, he had to get trained in formation flying. As if he couldn't fly in formation with the space shuttle and the Mir space station. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in a round of applause for a true American hero, one of the nicest guys you would ever want to meet, Joe Edwards in the T-28 Trojan. Thank you, Joe. Just on the horn here on our private line with Dan McLaren, and got that, Dano. Here comes the Trojan. The first model that the Air Force used had an 800 horsepower motor, and that was not sufficient in power for the United States Navy. So they put this 1,425 horsepower motor on it and called it the T-28B. The Air Force had the A model T-28. And then the Navy decided, well, you know, we could use this for carrier qualification. So what they did was actually shortened the propeller blades by a few inches and put a tail hook on the back. They shortened the propeller blades so that they wouldn't smash into the deck of the carrier on those controlled crashes landing on the decks, because they don't flare like an airliner or a private aircraft, they just plant it. And you'll see that demonstrated by the F-18.